It is heartening to see that over the years, the bilateral ties between China and Malaysia has been progressing steadily. Of course, sometimes it is not without some hiccups. But I'm confident to say such hiccups had been successfully addressed. Now, without much problems, without any hassle. A case in point is the East Coast Rail Link, ECRL. That was widely publicized, not just in China, but also by certain Western media, aimed at demonizing the BRI implementation. But I can tell you that actually the real reason now for the transitional stalling of the project, just for a short period of time, actually, now that has nothing to do with the purported pushback by Malaysian authorities or the Malaysian new government then, but rather we were then having our own set of problems and priorities to address. And one of which, of course, was the financial constraints that we need to prioritize now in our effort to address. And on top of that, of course, there was another dimension of the problem, that is the ecological impact that we were then trying to avoid. And that explains why later, now when we decided to reroute, we changed the route of ECRL, right? We managed to have a cost saving on one hand, and on the other hand, we managed to achieve the very purpose of keeping the ecological equilibrium in certain parts of the state. But unfortunately, this was cited by certain BRI skeptics or critics as a case in point. Actually, that is totally unfounded. I still could remember, now since the early 70s, when I had the opportunity to read for the first time the Renmin Huabao. Renmin Huabao, actually, the bulletin those days, that were then a scarce commodity for many of us because it was then quite costly to an average student. Now, we could see now that kind of rapid changes. How rapid is rapid? The question asked. Now, I would use such term as leaps and bounds, quantum leaps made by China in all respects of life, in all aspects of economic development, not just in terms of GDP, but also in the social fabric. Because with the innovations, the technological innovations brought about by the Chinese scientists, it is not just an asset to the Chinese people, improving the life quality of the Chinese folks, but also it is deemed a major contribution to the human civilization. And on this token, of course, I would correlate the Chinese experience, or Chinese model, if you want to call it, the Chinese model, the success model, or even sometimes experience of success stories, or even sometimes failure stories. All these actually are worth to be learned, and success stories be emulated by the developing world, especially like Malaysia.